Okay, so explain what K9s4Cops is then and what you were able to achieve with that.
Okay, so Canines for Cops, again, we give dogs to law enforcement agencies, schools, school resource officers. And so that is an initiative of ours called Canines for Kids.
Mhm.
And after Sandy Hook,
Mm,
I said, why is someone not, people are coming back from serving overseas. They don't want to be the next Mark Cuban or Michael Dell or Jerry Jones. They want to keep serving and protecting.
that's right.
So why are we not putting officers with dogs, veterans even in schools? This is crazy.
Wow.
So I started 2 years after I started Canines for Cops, started Canines for Kids the month after Sandy Hook. And then recently we started a new initiative called Canines for Canines for Care.
Mhm.
And we put dogs in hospitals.
Mhm.
And when I started realizing how nurses and first responders were being abused really during COVID,
Mm,
on the front line, and people were just losing their minds.
right,
And, or maybe they'd come into the hospital and they'd be on some kind of drug. And, these nurses were getting stitches while they were at work. And they were like, and we don't have time to take care of ourselves or our coworkers because we're working double shifts because people are coming in and they're dying from COVID.
right,
And these dogs can sniff out, they're just amazing. Their noses are 500,000 times stronger than a human's.
right, right.
And
It's incredible. Okay, wait. So I want to go back to the logistics for a second. So by creating K9s4Cops, you were able to get around the red tape of being
yes,
able to donate
yes,
these dogs to the police department.
yes.
And then you were able to expand that to different cities.
Yes. So we give, so of the close to 400 now that we've gifted, like I said, it's schools, police departments, and then we give the dog and then their training
Right,
that they have to make sure that they're up to standard and up to par. And then we keep up with their career throughout so if you're a donor and you donate a dog, you get a report card.
oh, wow.
And it says, okay, you've purchased this dog in Palm Beach County.
Mhm.
And by the way, here's your end of year, report. And he's taken 50 kilos of cocaine that has the equivalent of this many $1 million. Granny was lost on a silver alert that has dementia, but he found Granny. She's reunited with her family. Or you put this dog in these schools. And by the way, we were able to take, randomly 100 guns this
Right.
year, whatever that dog's resource is. And then they get a report card on their run on investment.
So that's so amazing because it's like what you were talking about before. You didn't want to just hand your money over and not know
Right. And it's
when. You
not
get to
certainly that I
see.
didn't trust
Yeah,
our governor's office. It just wasn't, I knew they weren't going to have the same passion.
you're right. And so you're able to see as a donor where your money is actually going, what crimes
Right.
it's preventing, stopping, protecting kids. I think that's such a commendable thing and such a great
They
way to
can
follow.
name their own dog. And we have some families that are like, okay, this year we want to give another dog. Can you tell us? Like, we have close to 500 applications right now pending.
Meaning
That's
from
from departments or from
departments. Yeah.
schools. I mean,
Wow.
why do we have that?
Right.
I mean,
So, and I want to get into that. And by the way, this doesn't mean that somebody has to show up with a check for 25 or fifty thousand
No,
dollars.
no, 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 no. They can give $5. I mean,
Right.
it's we have some people that every month it takes, we have a student wrote me the other day and he says, I've been donating to you since you came and gave a demo to our class in second grade.
Oh,
Now
wow.
I'm in college. And he said $10 a month. And we make sure, we send a kid's a K9s for Kid clear backpack. We send them some coloring books, depending on what the age group
Right.
is. We go into the schools. Do you remember, Rachel, when you were little and McGruff
Yeah,
ever
of course.
came into your
Yeah.
school and like, just say no and things like that?
Mhm.
So if somebody says, we've had a whole elementary school raise money and give a dog. And
Oh,
so then they say, K9 Fuzzy, and they all get to name him,
right.
will come to their, is at their school. And if their class does something special, they may get to bathe him that day
Oh my
or
God.
that week. So he hangs out with them a little more
Right. Oh my God, I
and
love that.
they feel safe. I mean, it's a lot of foster kids, they don't want to talk to another administrator that's maybe separated them from their siblings because they have a parent that's in jail. And, so the guidance counselor is trying to talk to them about, what's happening at your foster house. They're
Right.
like, why would I tell you? The word you're already separating us. They're mad, but they don't know who they're mad at.
Right.
And so when that time in a room with a dog, they're singing like a bird and they feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to talk about the common misconceptions that people have about these canines in the police department. I'm not sure that people really understand why that and how they are so important. And people really miss the mark on really seeing why it's important to have canines. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. So, but canines, I always say, this is the best worker that you want to have. They never ask for a day of vacation. They never say, I took an Ambien last night and I'm kind of feeling, hungover or Benadryl or had too much red wine.
Mhm.
They work for the love of a tennis ball.
Mm,
That's it. I mean, and they don't care who your daddy is, how much money you have, or if you're Republican or Democrat. uh, they just want to get in there and get the reward, which is
right.
a treat or a tennis ball or whatever. And the misconception is that all dogs, they'll come in and they'll bite and they're there to hurt, and that's not true at all. I mean,
Mhm.
some of these dogs are so social. Now, there's different dogs for different situations,
Mhm.
but they're such a great community relations tool because then you'll get to somebody in town and you'll say, oh my gosh, I raised, $20 washing cars when I was in high school to donate towards that dog.
Mm,
And it's just, I see the bonds
mhm.
that brings together. And a lot of my officers would never have a reason to interact with community events.
Mhm.
And, we'll have other nonprofits or things like that call all the time. We've got 5 dogs at Texas A&M University that sniffs out for firearm explosions,
Mm,
explosives and firearms.
mhm.
And the people now that come to football games, you're talking 110,000 people in one venue on
Mm.
a Saturday in the South.
Yeah.
And where guns are pretty rampant here. I mean, move to Texas, they'll give you one when you get here. Yeah, but God forbid you need an abortion.
Right.
Might want to take that out. But I these people say, hey, I saw Canine Aggie or I saw Canine Maze, or that people feel a connection. Do you mind? Can I stop and take a picture? I know the founder, or can I post this on Facebook? And just the camaraderie that it brings together and how much safer people feel.
Sure.
There's no machinery that's made that can duplicate what these dogs can do
Right.
and the heart that they have.
Right, and explain that too, because I think that that's so important and something that's fascinating. I mean, these dogs, like you said, their sense of smell is completely, there's nothing that compares to it. The fact that they can go into an area that a human could not. I've seen you talk about dogs that have been dropped 30 feet into
Yes,
rubble or into an ocean or whatever it is, looking to do a rescue mission. There are all these things that dogs they have a much different sense of senses in general than we
absolutely.
have. Can you explain some of those that how they stand out more than a human could?
Right. So let's just say they're looking for firearms. We have a dog called a mobile odor detection dog. We call them mod dogs in our office. And that dog can, let's just say it's something not nefarious. You're coming to a football game, and again, there's 100,000 plus people, and it's a Saturday night game, but that morning you may have gotten up and gone duck hunting, or gone to the range with your family, or just gone and had some regular good old American fun.
Mhm.
And you have your jacket on, and maybe there's some gunshot residue on your hands, or you have a couple of extra bullets or something that you've left in a pocket. And that dog can go through a crowd of 100,000 people, smell a plume up to a mile away. That odor can be 10 days old.
Right.
So maybe you picked up that jacket a week ago, but now you're at this game, a week later.
Right.
And so the dog just comes and just sits in front of the smell and kind of lets his handler know, hey, something smells funny here. And so that's his command. He just stops and locks in and sits
Mm.
and just says, hey, dad or mom, you need to check this out. He just smells funny.
Right.